I have made mention before in several of my videos of how I would like One Piece to be done, and I gave very small hints towards it and small details. But in this video, I'm going to say everything that I want to actually happen in One Piece, and it'll be like a complete rehauling of the series. Now, for the most part, I'm just going to switch around a few ordering of things and scratch out a few things that I don't like about it, and this overall would make it a much better series. Here are some of the biggest alterations right from the start. The first thing I would do is, of course, immediately take out all the poneglyphs and the Void Sentry and anything related to that. That's your starter. Everything up until about either the East Blue Saga or Alabasta really was pretty damn good. But I would do immediately after that though is completely erase the Skypiea arc, because there's just no real point in that arc so far in the series, and if it hasn't come back like 400 chapters later to be any kind of relevance, then that arc can be scrapped as of right now. There's no Thriller Bark involved in any of this. Thriller Bark has obviously no purpose to me. Since there's no Thriller Bark, then that means that Brook probably would not have never joined the crew, but Brook hasn't really done anything for the entire series, so that's not really much of a loss. Without Skypiea or the Thriller Bark arc around, then the series will be reduced drastically by at least 150 to maybe 200 chapters. In order to preserve her character, Nami should have been killed at Arlong Park, because she was an excellent character up to that point. If Arlong somehow managed to kill her, I'd respect her so much, and I'd probably put her down as like one of my top 10 or 15 best female characters of all time. But it's because she would live beyond arc and started doing all this money grubbing bullshit that I don't like her at all. Of course, they'd have to find a new navigator in order to get past the Arlong Park, because they need to be able to actually travel from place to place. Ace should not be a part of the show in any way. He is completely erased from the series as of my theory. After defeating Crocodile at Alabasta, they should have immediately met with Aokiji and start with the whole Water 7 arc. So the second Robin joined the crew, she'd be in this immediate danger from someone like him. And then when they reach Water 7, they fight against the CP9 members. She gets captured. Usopp should have long left the crew, and he should never return. He should just be like on his way to the New World by himself, trying to become a great warrior sea, as he's always said. Now, she'd be taken to Enies Lobby. But the difference is, when they go there to save her, they would actually fail, and she would get taken to Marineford instead of impelled down in order to be executed. She takes the place of Ace in that situation. Without Ace in the series, I could really see Luffy and Blackbeard being like friendly rivals with each other in their quest to get the One Piece. And in this situation, he could ask for Blackbeard's assistance in order to go to Marineford and rescue Robin. And what Blackbeard would do is that he would go to Impel Down, and he'd invade there in order to get some assistance. At this point in the show, I would like for Sabo D to be like a side thing that already happened, where Kizaru actually managed to capture all the supernovas who were there, and when Blackbeard goes to Impel Down, he saves the supernovas and gets them to assist in attacking Marineford in return for his freeing them. And maybe Blackbeard gets a little greedy and he goes for level 6 prisoners and takes a few of those guys like the giant battleship and the smoker or the drinker and Shiryu and people like that. And of course, Jinbei has to be there among them too. At the exact same time, Luffy would go over to Whitebeard and he'd ask for him to go for his assistance in attacking Marineford. Now, his connection could be that since Robin's a mysterious figure, she could have easily been working with the revolutionaries, and on top of that, she could have been a part of Whitebeard's crew, and one of his extended family. So he would gladly help Luffy in this situation. You'd have Whitebeard, Blackbeard, Luffy, and all the supernovas, along with all of Whitebeard's extended crew from the New World helping him in order to attack Marineford, and that would just be epic in scale. But of course, they wouldn't be able to save Robin. She should end up being executed by kind of the exact same way with trying to protect Luffy. And also, of course, Whitebeard would have to die in the war. After the war is over, then Luffy and his crew would head over to Sabo D for the very first time and encounter Celestial Dragons. Now, in this situation, it would be okay for Luffy to attack one of the Celestial Dragons and have Kizaru in retaliation to that. And when that happens, then Kuma could also arrive for the very first time. Since there's no Thriller Bark, this would be the very first time that he met any of them, and he could use Ursus Shock and Sabaody, and this would separate all the crew, which would give him a great opportunity to teleport them away since no one would be around. Even Kizaru would have to disperse and run away if he uses Ursus Shock, and he could just go around in that rummage and find all the Straw Hats and teleport them away to safety, so that's how they would escape from Sabaody unharmed. Except for Zoro in that situation, because he still needs to retreat. He still needs to report something back to the government, and couldn't say all the Straw Hats escape. So he had to make Zoro absorb all the pain, and Zoro would die right there. After all the fighting been cleared up with like Kuma and Kizaru and all of them, then he'd be teleported to Amazon Lily. And Rayleigh would follow him there and know exactly where he is, because Kuma would probably tell him at that point when he teleported in front of him and told him that one discreet line. Rayleigh would explain what a disaster it was what just happened on Sabaody, and Luffy needs to train up, and he'd somehow arrange for Luffy to be able to stay down Amazon Lily with Boa Hancock for the next 2 years so he can prepare himself for the new world. I don't want to have Boa Hancock have any sort of feelings towards Luffy. That erases the character. As a fighter, she's actually pretty good, but it's that whole affection towards Luffy that makes me not like her. So completely erase that. As things are right now before starting the New World, that leaves Zoro, Robin, and Nami dead, along with Brook never being introduced, and Usopp on his own. So all that be left to the main crew would be like Luffy, Chopper, Franky, and Sanji. That's it. Now, you're probably thinking that just having these 4 as the main characters would be kind of small for adventure, but you refer back to my Why I Love One Piece video, and I said that I wanted to take like a Fate Zero approach to everything. So that means that we'd be not just seeing these 4, but we'd also be seeing like Blackbeard and his crew, and then Shishibukai, and the Yonko, and the Admirals, and all the various other people under the inside the Navy, the world government, and all these other characters that are possible for them to explore. I wouldn't really change anything about Fishman Island. I actually did like that arc. It was well executed in my opinion, at least for the anime. I never read the manga, so don't try and counter me on that. Jinbei could have easily joined their crew, become like the 5th member for them. As soon as they hit like the new world for real, have Law come to them and ask for their assistance in fighting Doflamingo. And in order to do that, they had to go after Caesar Clown, and it make this arc super quick, because Punk Hazard could be as quick as like 5 or 10 chapters. All you need to do was have Luffy, Law, and Sanji just go in there real quick and capture Caesar Clown and take care of Monet. There's no need for Virgo to even show up there. Virgo could just stayed right there with Doflamingo and Dressrosa. And as of right now in the story, have it so that when Law fought against Doflamingo and Fujitora, he got captured, and I know that Doflamingo also fought against Sanji, and have him of course lose that fight, and so he has both of them. And then maybe in a scene we see Doflamingo talking of Luffy, saying that if he doesn't hand back over Caesar Clown, he'll kill Law and Sanji. They should do in the same style as like Bon Clay when he had his death scene, and then it's like Luffy has no choice but to refuse that, because he knows that Caesar Clown's value is much higher than Law or Sanji's value, because without him Kaido's not going to attack him. And then have him like use his string attacks and cut off Sanji and Law's head, and that's how the 2 of them die. And that's my in-depth outline of how I would change One Piece, and that's how I would make the show so much more better than what it is right now.